Do it for you.
Baby, don't forget the floor is yours. Yeah, baby, I mean the floor is yours. If it come down to the floor is yours. Let me show you how I prove the floor is yours. 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 The floor, yeah, the floor is yours.
Now it's my turn to tell.
Well, here we are again. Welcome, everybody. Hey, everyone on the panel. How are y'all today?
Hey, hey.
We're back into the
Hello.
building.
Hey, we are back at it just like we promised last week. We are here, and men, we let y'all have it last week, but women, we gonna let y'all have it this week. We have another great show, but before we get to anything, we need y'all to go like, share, subscribe on all of our platforms: Facebook, Instagram, what's the other ones?
IG,
YouTube.
YouTube.
Hit them all up because you don't never want to miss a show because we always got good stuff coming at you. Great energy, great people, great perspectives. So you always want to catch it. So make sure y'all go do your homework. Go tell your mama and granny them, hey, let's come watch the show. Go like and subscribe. But like we said last week, it was all about the men. This week, it's all about the women. It's the same topic, but changing the gender. It is toxic mothers and insecure women. That's what we're going to be talking about tonight. Ooh, so we got some good juicy stuff to start with. Flex, I know you was talking about something in the back, how you want to touch on something since you're the only
Yeah,
man on this panel. Let's hear it.
yeah. So just to set the stage for the conversation, we talked last week again about the men, but we're talking about how insecurities drive these bad behaviors, and a lot of these insecurities are born from trauma that we experienced when we were younger, or could be just from a recent past relationship. So we want to talk about those behaviors, but one of the ones that always keeps surfacing is the insecurities. A lot of things are born from insecurities, and partially because when you are afraid of something or because of an insecurity, you begin to manipulate it and try to structure it or put boundaries or confounds, if you will, to try to control that narrative. So that's what the discussion is going to be mainly about, is how insecurities can influence the behavior of a toxic mother, and a mate in a relationship as well. And one particular thing that I was wanting to start the discussion with is people pleasing.
Mm,
I see a lot of posts on Facebook where women are boasting of how good they are to women and how down they are and what they'll do for their men. I'm sorry, or whatnot, whoever you're in a relationship with. And what we're finding out is, and it's just speculation. Of course, I don't know them, but you start to wonder, like, if you're going over and beyond like that, and the love is not reciprocated, like, what are you looking to get in return?
mm,
If that love is not being reciprocated, because I think that's what love is about. What are you looking to get? And sometimes what I read is that it's happening hoping, like, hey, if I love him more, if I, you know, do more for him, if I'm, just whatever, not nagging or not complaining, let him do what he want to do, that somehow that's going to make this person love me better. And oftentimes that's not the case. So that's what I want to start the discussion with, is how um, people pleasing is not a attribute that we should seek after. It's actually a toxic behavior.
okay. I like where you was going with that because that can go a whole bunch of different ways. People pleasing as women, we are here to serve. That it seems to be the role that we get thrown into all the time. We're serving our children, we're serving our mates, we're serving at work. No matter where we are, it's always seems to be us. If something needs to be fixed in a relationship or with the children, it's always the mothers that seems to have to come into that role and take over. But like you said, what happens when you're already toxic? You didn't came from a toxic environment. You didn't learn toxic traits, and you don't even know that you're actually being toxic. A lot of people, I can actually say for myself that I have had some toxic traits in parenting that I didn't know was toxic. I just thought it was regular parenting because that was the way I was brought up. But knowing how you raised back then, you cannot raise the children the same way now. And it's just learning the difference and learning not to fall into that trap
Yeah.
that we all tend to do, because that's what we, like we said, that's what we know. But in the people pleasing standpoint of it, yes, it has the tendency of overtaking, us being so, trying to overcompensate for the lack of what we need and giving it to someone when it's not reciprocated, but still trying to prove our love. It's a whole bunch of different ways that actually go, and I see it a lot when women are pleasing or trying to please their man, and then their children get on the back burner. Um,
Mm.
that right there is very toxic.
Yeah.
So when y'all, somebody speak on that, because that right there, I see that a lot as well. Pleasing your man and then your children are on the back burner.
Well, I wasn't going to say anything about the children part, but I will. I can. But what I was going to say is, for me, right, I'm a Virgo, and Virgos are givers, we're carers, we're super loyal. Maybe the Virgos, you don't know. I don't know. I'm the queen of Virgo. Like, if you look up in the textbook, it's like my face. So, um, like, we always do too much. And then my own, like, personal BS from childhood made me do too much. Okay, yes, it made me do too much. So all through my 20s, I realized, dang, I am a people pleaser at this point. And then in my 30s, I was like, okay, I have to draw more boundaries and I have to stop doing what I'm doing, because now I'm doing things, I'm doing so much for everybody else. I ain't even done for me. And I
Yeah.
guess that, well, I wouldn't say from me personally that it bled into like I'm doing so much that I did less for my kids, but I would people please my kids too. Hey, what do y'all want? What do you want? What do you want for dinner? Where do you want to go? To the point where now I kind of got some brats. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I mean, it can be super toxic for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I
Okay.
love it. Yes, Team Virgo all day.
Yeah. Represent for the Virgos out there. Another part too about that people pleasing thing is you're doing it with hoping to get something in return. So the question you have to ask is, what happens when you don't get the desired outcome,
Mm,
right? So now there's disappointment. A lot of times disappointment brings anger. When you get anger, then
resentment.
here comes some of that,
Yeah.
the other, snowballing bad behavior. So again, it's just a unhealthy way of being. Um, that again, that you're doing it, and again, our society puts a certain positive spin on it. Like, man, she's down. Man, she'll do anything. That love
Yeah.
is unwavering, but it is very, very,
Ride or
very
die
tough.
bottom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
without a doubt. Yeah, to a
Yeah.
point where you're frowned upon if you're not. So,
Mhm.
Yeah, and I hate that, because that's that struggle love. I call that struggle love. I
struggle.
don't want to have to go through the trenches with you for you to see my value, or for you to see that I'm down for you. Like, that's toxic within itself. We
Mhm.
accept so much toxic stuff because society has made it look like, oh no, you loyal, you down chick. Because every man I ask, what you looking for a woman? They top three answers, if not the top two, is gonna be, I want loyalty, somebody for loyal, respect, and this, that, and the other. Okay, that loyalty looks very toxic sometimes when we're up here giving you our all. Like I said, it's not reciprocated, and then here we are stuck in this never-ending cycle again. So it's it's a detriment to both, but dang, at some point someone has to stop it.
Yeah.
And that's when the maturity of in a relationship comes into play, knowing each other roles, and you're talking about your roles for each other. But yeah, that's all I have to say on that. But
Well, I'm gonna piggyback on Tamika when she said the letdown is the worst, and the letdown really is it's heart wrenching. Um, During the process of when you look at loyalty, so they say they want you to be down, right? Women, I've had a lot of girlfriends or people that I know. Let's say that I've seen them be down in a capacity where they stayed when the husband had a baby on them, or they stayed when they knew
and
different things. But I mean, and to them it's whatever you can take. But when if the loyalty had to change, would be the fact of I have to be more loyal to myself. Is the man willing to stay in the relationship? When we begin to set
mhm.
the boundaries and say, okay, well, if we're gonna be loyal, then we gonna be loyal across the board. I've got loyalty to me to not accept or allow what you want me to do for you to hold on to you. That's not good, because in the end I still lose myself in pleasing you. I begin to become detached emotionally. I began to be attached mentally, physically, all of these different things. But then I still show up and I come to this house and I'm there, and then you want me to lay with you. And then if I do lay with you, then I get up and sometimes I'm going to the bathroom and I'm crying. These are the things that
Mhm.
women really don't sit down and really talk about. This is where it makes you insecure, and then the toxicity comes in, because these are the things that we do behind closed doors. But then we get out in front of our girlfriends, right? And then we still want to be like we the baddest chick and we the best woman and all of that. But I owe it, because I'm gonna go here. I owe it to me for one, but my sisters owe it to themselves to not allow those traits to dictate down the way on how you do it. And a lot of that goes back to childhood trauma from your daddy, what you didn't get or what you didn't receive and how you didn't see it was supposed to be displayed. Then it go back to your mama, because if you ain't never seen your mama give it out and then you've never seen
Yeah.
her receive it, then now we go through this pattern of I Betty did it, Big Mama put up with it, all no. And then now when you get to a place where you have daughters that are in your life and you begin to see them going down this same rabbit hole, then sometimes you want to always go check the young man in their life, when really you got to go back and talk to your baby and ask them, what did you see that I did that affected you to want to go down this same road? And then if I do see it, am I strong enough to be loyal to myself to say, you know what, let me sit my baby down, or let me sit my girlfriend down. Now, they may not be receptive of it. They may not have an opening ear, but I promise you, you plant the seed, they got to go sit in it. I don't care if they got to go drive
Yeah.
home and get a bottle of wine and think about it. It's in their head, and they're gonna have to
Yeah.
stop in that thing. So when we get toxic, baby, it
Yeah.
spills over. And then we snapping at a chick. I always got something to say. 9 times out of 10, if we over there looking sideways at Sally, we got some same connection with Sally, because we going through the same thing, and it's pissing us off because we see her doing it. But then we ain't really bold enough to say, girl, I'm right there with you, and I need to get up out of it too. Okay,
Yeah.
I sit back.
Hey, and that wasn't even a love note, man. That was on fire. But hey, we want to go to some of these comments. So in the audience, keep the comments coming. We're gonna get to them as much as we can. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Tamika says people pleasing is all the way toxic. I want to please my husband, but not to the detriment of my own happiness and health.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's the part that we didn't state on that. You're right. It's okay to, to be in. That's what relationships are about. You're giving. But to Tamika's point, when it's at your own detriment, it's not good. And even so much, I see, and I've been talking a lot. We've been on these song tips. You know, these songs talk about it, and again, they put the nice beat and the harmonizer behind it, and they say, "I can't
Tony,
breathe."
Tony
And
over there talking about she can't breathe again, and we back there jamming, and it's all this right here. Girl, I
No.
can breathe. Yes, I can breathe. I can.
Mm-mm.
you
Yeah.
can breathe. So that's the thing. And Deb, you had something on that, Deb?
Oh no, I was going to read this other one that Tamika had put out. This expectations become the heartbreaking when both are on the same page about the relationships. And that's exactly what I was saying. Like, you cannot assume anything at any moment. And then just setting the precedence of what your roles are, because that keeps the toxicness out of it. If you know and play your role within the relationship, like making sure everybody is pleased in it and it's not just the one sided, because um, of what society is teaching us, what we're hearing self-consciously in the music. Everything is playing a role, but when you and your person are on the same page, then you can fight through all that other stuff because you're doing what's best for y'all and not what society as a whole makes you think is okay.
I want to touch on that piece real quick too about the expectations, because and assuming that we talked extensively about that in the past. And I remember you saying, "I'm gonna ask everything," and I was thinking, as a man, I'm like, "Man, you're gonna get on my nerves." But it was joking. But the seriousness is that you should not assume, and a lot of the
Yeah.
things that you're assuming is based off of your fears, your experiences, what you've seen in the past, and it's what I expect this relationship to be. And the thing is that it's a one-sided way of viewing the situation. You know the old saying that once you assume, you make a butt out of you and me. Yeah,
That's kind of what it is. It ain't.
No.
yeah, but that is so true. Like we should not be assuming, and even
Yeah.
more than assuming, you begin to push that narrative. Because if what I've learned about some women, and it's just anybody, but we're talking about women today, is if what they didn't get in the past relationship, they're totally expecting it in this new relationship, and they're pushing it and almost trying to force it. And you're going to do one or two things. You're going to be overbearing, or the minute it don't look like what you think it should look like, you're going to bail. And you just create this cycle of just recycling people in and out of your life.
So
the problem with that. Oh, I'm sorry.
So what you said you leave out of one relationship, and when you leave out of it, you're expecting what you didn't get from that one. Once again, we going all the way back to daddy, because you expected something from him, and even when you didn't get it from him, you started the pattern there. So the cycle is never broken. But then even if you're going into the new relationship, to leave the toxicity behind, because now you're bringing something into the new relationship that has nothing to do with that person, because now I'm putting what my hurts or the dysfunction of that relationship on this man, and he don't deserve it. My thing is, I'm starting this clean slate with you, and then this new person may already know what to put into me, because maybe they observe me, because they coming from an angle from somewhere. Because Lord, I'm definitely not trying to attract what I was attracting back then. I don't want these therapeutic men. I don't mean no harm when I say that. That's kind of funny. I worded therapeutic. I'm not a therapist. I'm not. Now I am good at being there, and I'm learning. I'm even better to listen. But at the same time, when it begins to be so overbearing that you are really draining me, I don't have time, because then I'm trying to love you. I'm trying to heal you. I'm trying to think for you. I'm setting a foundation. I just can't.
Yes.
That's why I'm gonna just put like, it ain't can't, I ain't. That's what I'm on the live talking to the people tonight. So, and I'm just no, but I'm not going to bring those old things into, because I believe I have done it, to be honest, because we don't really think about it that way. But anything you go back into it with a new man and you find yourself doing again, that means I'm repeating a cycle, and I don't want to repeat that no more. So yeah, no, I'm just that thing don't woke me out. Yes, right there. Ooh, not therapeutic. Once you start, it is hard to break.
It's hard
and
to break.
You break the cycle. Watch this. If you do break that cycle of being this attentiveness, because now you know that I've got to now set you in a place, or set the table for you to take the lead as the man. Now you're feeling like I'm not attentive anymore. Now you're over here saying, well, when you started it, you did it this. Well, I shouldn't have started in the very beginning. I shouldn't have started being the medicine. I shouldn't have been the therapist. I shouldn't have been your mama. I should have been none of these things.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you checking me so that I can check myself. So if that means that you feel now rejected, I got to check me. I can't look so much as to you. I know that I got to stop the cycle, because it's something with me.
Ooh, that's a love.
Okay, that was a mouthful.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm sure you had something. I'm sorry.
I'm just thinking, once you're in this situation, right, and you have now grown, you have broken the cycle, but you're married. You got 5 kids in the back room.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you do? Because if you grow and your spouse hasn't grown, you know what I'm saying? And you have this commitment to each other, that's forever. That's really hard for people. I know a lot of people that do not survive that at all.
Keep y'all don't throw your shoes up. Don't throw no shoes. You hear me?
Mika about to throw a shoe.
Hey, For people that don't know what that means, when people throw their show, that mean they in tune with what you're talking about. So,
Nurse
but yeah,
and a purse. I love nurse and a purse, nursing you back to health and covering expenses. All of the expenses of your mental. I don't know who to face because it ain't
Yes.
sitting on this end,
That's
but
your thing.
Yes.
yeah. So talk about what is this saying? A nurse in a purse.
nursing you
Yes.
back to health. In other words, it's costly. I'm nursing you, but it's costing me. Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it does. I'm nursing. Remember back last week when we talked about being the medicine. I know what it is to be called the medicine, right? I've lived that journey. Well, you know, everything that you challenge me, you do this and those things. But at the end of the day, the pouring back into was killing wasn't there for me. So here I am pouring in, but I'm being depleted at the same time, and I'm needing a lifeline. But you ain't giving CPR because at the end of the day, you don't know how the pressure to put on my chest. You don't know how much breath I need just to get my heart and my lungs. Girl, I done went in on that one. My mental capacity and my emotional stability back to a rhythm that's got a nice pulse and not irregular heartbeat or I'm about to flatline.
Yeah.
I'm in a vein tonight. I feel it for my y'all ain't even got to tell me. I feel this thing tonight. It's like a release, like
Yeah. So
a
that was
freedom
Mia.
call for me tonight. This is personal for me, but it's real. And I'm walking in all the truth that I got because I don't have to be ashamed of it. I don't have to be silenced because sometimes
Yeah.
we talk because we feel like if we bring up past conversations of relationship, we still worried about what the ex gonna think about it if we talk about it, or what they homies or they friends or they family when they hear it and they gonna see us on the street and they want to talk about that person. Well, this is my journey, and we should not have to dummy down the journey for somebody else to be able to learn from this experience and get healed to know how to go in another relationship healthier. Because if one don't work, baby, you do got the right to go on. And I'm not
Yes.
that's going into another with somebody still attached to you, but you got to know, be healthy enough to say, this is enough for me to say, I gotta tend to me. I got to, male or female, but this is females on tonight. And so many times we don't release things. We hold on to it and we take that same soil and we take it into another relationship and want to plant
Yes.
a seed. Baby, ain't nothing coming up out of there but a weed.
Because you know why?
You're not gonna get these pretty flowers right here.
The problem is again when you learn these behaviors, then you normalize them, and
Right.
you know society has told you that that behavior is something to be sought after or to be proud of. You're taking it to the next relationship, and even if that person in the next relationship thinks that you're an asset, value added, you know, and worth being in a relationship, they don't know that it's toxic. And so you're just in there, you're just figuring out like, man, something is off. Something
Yeah.
is off, you know. And I look at some of these um the videos and posts, and again, it's normalized. We talked about the relationship piece when we were just recycling, and some people are scared to be alone, you know. And I'll say this: we are made for companionship, but it's for healthy companionship. And my thing is, we get in these relationships and we think what Misha said, that people are supposed to heal us. And
Mhm.
man, it's we not to beat the dead horse about the music, but we have talked extensively about it. And when the music is playing constantly, talking about, you know, you're my everything, and the one we listened to yesterday was saying, I'll do anything for you, anything you ask, and you putting that out there, and you're expecting that person to really show up for you. Well, one, it doesn't allow that person to be human. What about
Mhm.
off their game and they're not at their best? That's one issue. But the other piece is not even realistic, man, for someone to be everything and everything for you. So
I want to read this comment because I actually know someone that's going
which
through
one?
this. I believe it's Mia,
Yeah.
Facebook user. They
Okay.
rock with you as long as you're not healed. The minute you're healed, you're changed. You're not the same Christian woman anymore. You dang right, I changed. I'm choosing healedness and wholeness.
Like,
This exact conversation I literally had with a woman. Been married for 16 years, been with the person for 19 years. They 5 kids in. She has started therapy this year, and already seeing a growth within herself within these last few months that she's been going. And husband does not want to participate in therapy. And you're really considering leaving this man because now that you have found your healing and you're growing because you wanted more, and that's why you went to go find it in the first place. Now this person isn't coming along on this new journey, and because it's been toxic, but you don't want it toxic no more. And it's like, what do you do now at this point? Because I didn't have the words to give this lady. It's because you it's from sickness and in health. Right now, we're going to call this toxicness sickness because you need to be healed. He needs to be healed. You're getting the healing that you need. And now it's growing y'all apart. How you deal with something like that?
It is a personal choice and it's her decision. All you can say is, what does this look like for you? What's attached to it? Because even let's say you got children attached to it, when you stay in things like this is what I've learned too. When you watch your parents stay in stuff, and y'all, we think we hiding from these kids. They know. And then what you're teaching them is that this is acceptable. This is what it looks like. Stay in it, deal with it. Because 9 times out of 10, we good at telling them to be seen and not heard, or be heard and not seen. But then when they come back and throw this up, well, I watched you do this with my daddy, so now I'm in a relationship like this. And so what do you do now? You can't go back and tell them to change something that they watch you stay in. Well, they want
Yes.
to put up with, because all they've gone is by what they're seeing by example. So now it's
Mhm.
because that she has to really do some soul searching for herself and the betterment for her to know what she's going to do in that situation that's going to work for them both. Because one thing about it, if he chooses to never change, are you willing to stay there and still be in a
Yeah.
stagnant place? That's just a choice, and that's a hard choice to make, because what
Yes.
Yeah.
you do is, the church will throw those things up in your face, for better or for worse, for sickness or in health, and all of these different things, and then to death do us part. But then what I do know is there'll be teams stay together if the man cheat on you, more so with the man than the woman. Let the woman do what they tell the man to leave her and go about the business. Let's go. I'm gonna go deep there. Now I'm gonna stop too, because there was
Hey,
a question by Daniel.
hey, before we jump on now, because I want to answer Deb too.
Okay.
I don't know if they're watching or not, but Furious from the Culture Podcast, he used to say this all the time: everything with life grows, and if it's not growing, it's
There's no
because it's
life.
dead.
My God.
My thing is this, and think about what Deb just said. If that relationship still has life, it needs to be growing. Now it might not be, just perfect, day to day progress, but you should see some progress, and there should be
Yes.
some efforts. And I believe if you put the effort in there, it's eventually going to show. Now it's going to take a level of grace that most people
Yes.
think would think is stupid or ridiculous to even show. But I think that's what it takes, because again, people are not going to be on their A game all the time, whether it's mentally, physical issues, whatever it is. So I'll just say that about Deb's question is that if they stop growing, and I'm talking from a Christian standpoint, Christian worldview now, there's an out. Paul tells the people that God has called us to live in peace. Now I know there's a lot of people that say that there's only two outs for marriage, and that's death or divorce.
Adultery. Yeah.
But my thing is that if your conscience is not clear, you're not good for anybody. And I don't
Yeah.
believe that. And it's not I don't believe the Bible doesn't teach that you're supposed to stay there if you're in an unhealthy relationship.
Mm-hmm. Now I think this is Danielle, or is that Daniel? No,
Oh
Daniel.
yeah, Dan. Yeah, let's go to that one. I want all three of y'all to hit this
He
one.
said, "What advice would you give to the 21-year-old self in this regards?" I'm glad you asked, because I have a 21-year-old, a 23-year-old daughter, a 29-year-old son, and a 30-year-old daughter. And my 21-year-old self always talks to my daughter in this regards. And we just had a conversation about this yesterday. When you begin to see red flags of controlling and all of these different things, because she did deal with domestic violence 3 years ago. But there's also a pattern that's trying to come back and get her, because it's what this attraction who's coming up in her face, nurturing, tending to issues in the family, all this. It's a no. Because I'm 21. At 21, I had what was it? My kids were 18, 20. At 21, I had 2 children. So I was already dealing with emotional things from relationships and men, right? Father issues and all of these different things. But my 21-year-old self would tell a 21-year-old now, it's all about you. Self-love, if you probably can't even see it over there in the corner. It says self-love is the best medicine. It is all of at 21, it shouldn't even be where you on a roller coaster ride with emotions in any type of relationship. If anything, honey, it's just a roller coaster on how I'm finna get myself together, make sure I'm stable, financially able to take care of myself, can see the world and enjoy life and live while I'm living and not die while I live at 21. Not waiting till you get to be 40 to try to figure this thing out with the light bulb on. Sometimes you ain't gonna want to listen to your parents, but if we begin to talk to you from that 21-year-old place that we used to be in, instead of trying to come to you as your 40-year-old mama. Now, I'm not saying not to come back as the mother. I'm just saying talk to your children at the age that you were and the things that you were doing, the mindset that you had, so that they will understand that they ain't in this journey alone, that you understand this age and era that they are in. Now, it's totally to a times 10 with what they dealing with, but we are familiar with it. And we should be able to go back and sit in this thing and talk about it. So I'm telling you, value you. Take care of you, tend to you, nurture everything about you. Get to know anything that you're dealing with from childhood that you've seen up until
That part.
that you need to sit and talk about and address. Face all of those things first. Work on you internally, mentally, spiritually, all of these different things, and then go looking later on in life down the road for a relationship. But have the best relationship with yourself, a foundation of faith, whatever that may be for you. Mine is the Lord Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm gonna get that out the way. But whatever yours is, deal with that, okay? But find the balance of self, and let that be where you tend to you. But anything you need to address, I feel like you are old enough and capable enough, and I pray that you got mature enough parents that will allow you to sit at the table and say, Mama, I'd love to have a conversation. Because what I've learned is that what you don't talk about is still giving toxicity, because then the streets gonna tell them something, and then when they come to you with it, either you got an attitude or you gonna really tell them the truth. Well, I'd rather give mine the table at the table and sit and spoon feed them what they need to know than for then somebody to come over here and just shoot them up in the vein with too much of something and shock the hell out of them and just blow their mind. And now we got all this dysfunction and hell going on within them.
Who want to take the next one? Y'all want to answer before we?
Oh, well, mine was quick. Basically, what she said, dealing with what you done dealt with childhood all the way up to the age now. Yes, deal with that trauma so you won't be 40 years old with kids and a spouse trying to deal with it. Deal with it as soon as you can. Go ahead, get in therapy and deal with that earlier part of your life. And then the other part of it, I would say, learn people. Get to know people, because people are that's one of the late blooming things that I had for myself, is learning people don't think the same way. I'm like, that's just common sense, blah this and blah that. Well, no, everybody don't think the same way, because people perspectives are different, because some people were raised totally different. Some things may sound good to us and how we was raised in this part of the country, and another part of the country may be total opposite. So with that being said, get to learn people and understand that your issue or their issue doesn't have to anything to do with you. You don't have to take on their issues, their problems, or even understand where they're coming from. Just respect it and keep moving. Those are some bigger lessons that I had to learn on the out.
I like
on
that
the
you
back
said
end.
you don't even have to understand it, just respect it. That's
Yes.
so. Keep the comments coming. We're finna get to them. Won't let Virgo answer this question as well, and then we'll jump into the comments.
So I too have older children, grown older children, and my daughter comes to me all the time actually to talk about stuff. And it's interesting because when I do see how she responds to stuff, I'm like, oh, shh. When I was 20, I was responding that way too. And it's crazy, it's crazy when you see yourself modeled, especially when you see yourself modeled at your worst, right? Because in my 20s, like you, I think when I was 21, I had 3 kids. So, I was raising children as a child, trying to be a good wife, trying to be all these things that I had never seen modeled either. And my parents were together until the day my parents were married until the day my daddy died, right? But my mama left for her own personal growth and never filed for divorce because she said she didn't have a biblical justification to leave. It was her own. And she said she didn't want to answer to God for a divorce, which I was like, you kind of can't loophole Jesus, but I get where you're going. But to that, I tell my daughter and my son, number one, as a daughter, please don't make any strong decisions or commitments until you're 23 years old. That's just a place where you start to mature. If you would have do, let him be 26. That's a place where they start to mature. That's a little bit differently than you do. When my kids were teenagers in middle school, I would make them go upstairs. Well, go upstairs or go to their room at like 9 o'clock, even though it's not bedtime. A, it's my personal time, but B, you need to learn what it is to sit in your room and be in silence by yourself. Because so many people cannot be alone. They can't handle silence and they fill it with toxicity because they just want somebody in their world. So I started there. Hey, go learn how to be alone. Go learn how to be alone, because if some goes down, you need to be comfortable to be like, you know what, I don't need none of this. I can just do me, right?
I like that.
And so then I guess the last part of that is I also said when they were in middle school, high school, early college, hey, go do all this stuff, experience everything, fall in love, fall out of love. You know what I'm saying? Because before you got a car note and a mortgage and some children, you should have already known what it is to love, be hurt, have good sex, have bad sex, and know exactly what your worth is, your value, and what you're looking for, and figure all that out while you don't have all these entanglements. So that's what I tell my kids.
Yeah, that's all good. I want to jump to Jack Standokes. He says parents need to do better with the info they share with their kids about the other parent. If you don't have anything good to say, then don't speak on the other parent at all. And I think we touched about this a little bit last
week.
But we're not telling people not to speak the truth in love. But all this bashing the other parent, usually because he or she is not moving, to your liking. To Jack's point, that's very toxic. So I'll let y'all speak on that.
I mean, I'm not opposed to it, because my deal is I'm going to speak the truth to my child. Me personally, if I had a toxic parent on the other end that wasn't ever doing anything, I would tell my child, okay, this is what it is. I'm here for you every day. I'm busting my tail and I'm busting my butt to make sure that you have what you need, and your daddy isn't providing anything for you. If you want something, you need to be able to call him and ask him for whatever you need to, as well as you're asking me. Because I'm going to put it like that. I ain't going to be like, well, your daddy he don't do nothing for you, blah, this, blah. No, I'm going to put it in the sense of what's going on at this very moment. You're needing something. I'm not able to provide it because I've been providing everything else: food, shelter, transportation, clothes, everything else for you. And now I don't have the funds for this. Listen, this is what you need to ask your dad. Ask your dad, because right now I'm doing everything on my own for you right now without his help. You can do it. It's just basically like, just putting it in perspective for the kids, not necessarily bashing, because I want them to know the truth. That's
But
me.
you know what? You don't even have to bash. If that man displays and models poor behavior, absenteeism, toxicity, neglect to your child, you ain't got to say nothing. Nothing. Your child will see it. All you have to do is be there and be like, baby, come here, give me a hug.
Yeah. You might need to add some context
or left at the curb because he never came and picked them up, or whatever the case may be.
I think you may have to add some context and some understanding, but it is a fine line, but sometimes between bashing and telling the truth.
Because one thing about it, either you gonna sit down and tell you in the best way, or we know how society is, and the people that you used to roll with, and those that don't like you, and they got kids that go to school with your kids now, and so then they start talking about your mama and your daddy and the things that they're doing. So sometimes it ain't even the parent, but then when it comes from the child back to the parent, then what is the child supposed to? What does the parent do then? Do you say go talk to your daddy, and then it's the dad or the mama? Are we going to sit down and tell them the truth when it's brought? Because say it doesn't come from the other parent. Because sometimes what we assume as parents, when kids come up with some stuff or get to coming home, we do initially put it on the other parent at times, and it's sometimes truth and fact, it ain't coming from the other parent. Now, I'm gonna chime in. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about how other outside influences come back to our children, and then when it's brought home, or say the child go back to the parent, they'll assume or will assume that it came from the parent. That's why the kid is asking us something or acting a certain way. So we have to be very in tune with how we are with our children and the relationship that we have when it comes up to these conversations. So no, I'm not saying we're gonna bash anything, but I will say this: if you're not up to par, and my baby keep asking me, what I am going to say is this, because I've had it before when my child was like, if you two can't get it together, then I want y'all to meet me at 5 and we gonna talk and we gonna get this settled out, because you're not gonna bash my daddy and my daddy not gonna bash you. That was a mature child and a teenager being a parent to the parents. I've been in that place too. But when these children do and it come their way, we need to be on the same playing field as parents and find out that if we got to be able to talk about these discussions, we as parents need to be mature enough to sit down with that child, put them in the middle and say, what is it that you could get more from your dad or you would like? What would you like more from your mother? And sometimes mama's probably going to be surprised that the same thing they want from their daddy, they want from their mama, because a lot of it ain't materialistic things. These children want time and conversation and to know that they are present and that they are seen. And so many times we throwing money, events and all of these things, but you ain't giving them quality time, and then they see y'all unhealthy because y'all the parents and y'all can't even get along, be in the same room and don't even speak to one another. But that's my mom and that's my daddy. What?
All right, let's go to this commercial break, and we're gonna come back and hit a couple more topics.
Yeah, Gerard, I'm never start over. Right now, we need to go to a commercial break because that was my cue to do that. I will not let Flex take the responsibility. We're gonna go to a commercial and we'll be right back. How about that?
It is.
Your success ain't gonna happen overnight. It may take a year, it may take 2 years, it may even take 10 years. For some people, it might take even longer than that. But one thing I do know, as long as you keep fighting and staying consistent, you will make it. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, are you gonna make it?
Creed. Step in that water, step in that water, step in that water. Yeah. You gotta be willing to go out and get it. You gotta dive in it, go and get it. Step in that water, step in that water, step in that water. Yeah.
Y'all was over there.
Step in the water, step in the water, step in the water.
So
That's
the official barber for the Floor Is Yours podcast, my man Miracle Hendricks out in the colony. If you're in the DFW area, hit him up for he got merchandise too, but he's definitely gonna hook you up on the haircut and the beard game. So boom.
I love the comment section. They are on go. They're on fire tonight. I
Yeah.
love it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's keep it going then. We don't want to keep the comments coming.
Nikki said, co-parenting is a work that requires transparency. Both parents having a common goal of fostering healthy and helpful and respectful relationships. You're absolutely right. It only works when you're over the other person. Y'all the ones that will still want to hold on and control the other person. Oh, don't have nobody around my baby, this, that, and the other. Y'all not over each other. I need y'all to go heal, get over each other so y'all can raise these kids the way they supposed to be raised.
But you know what? The parents didn't have a respectful relationship that was helpful and healthy in the first place. So it's hard for them to take that with a child now, because if they could, they'd most likely be together right now.
Right.
So
well, no, not necessarily, because some people, it depends on the nature of the relationship, what caused the breakup of the relationship. Because you love someone, or we can't even say that. Right now, these times nowadays, everybody's just popping up pregnant out from one night stands and stuff like that. So there never was a relationship. So now you're coming in already trying to build something and have a relationship with this other person as y'all raise a child, and y'all never had a relationship. But some of them, it's just simple as being adults. Y'all did something that's adults do, adults should be doing or does, and you're not being responsible with the whole area of it, of being responsible adults when it comes to making these kids. I can't explain it, y'all. I'm getting tongue-tied.
I wasn't laughing at you, Deb. I tried to hold my face. I just thought comment just had me tilted. So he was like,
yeah,
I got
from Texarkana, Corey Watson. Appreciate you tuning in. Of course, that he's still gonna spend the night. He know it.
I got issue. I wasn't right. Lord, that tickled me.
I have some issues.
Yeah, but you, man, another one too is I want to hit this topic before we wrap up. But so in our society, we tend more times than not to uplift women, and rightfully so. Not saying that we should, but what the discussion I've had in the men's circle is it's not appreciated. So I'm saying if the guy is uplifting, you know, whether it's paying the bills, whatever that woman sees as valuable to her that she really cares about and should be cherishing, what happens when she is given the bare minimum on her end and not showing appreciation for what that guy is doing? Now,
that makes that man equally as toxic, equally as codependent, equally as trauma
yeah,
bound.
we ain't talking about the men now.
Down somewhere too. And he do.
I was like, hold up.
Now.
I mean, he's getting ruined. He's getting ruined by a sorry woman because he hasn't taken his own. The advice we giving women right now, he need to take it and dip.
Yeah,
Like that.
I agree.
I'm just saying, don't be out here being therapeutic. Okay, I'm just.
But y'all get my point though, right?
Right.
You know, it is, and especially if, and not to make it all about religion, but if you carry in the Christian worldview, and they say honoring her as the weaker vessel, you know, and so you do uplift her. But the point again is that if she is not showing appreciation or honoring you as she receiving those type of that attention and that the benefit, then I think it's an issue.
That's right, Corey. Not the men tonight. It's the women and all this right here. But I'm just telling you, if you that medicine cabinet, you better best believe your hair may stop growing. You gonna make it in. It just depends on how it affects you.
Yeah.
And you gotta know when to cut off that supply. Like, and that's not saying you're not loving them, but you got to know when to cut it off. And 9 times out of 10, when you cut it off, it makes them feel rejected because, like they said, there's a toxicity that's really going on between the two of us, really, at this particular point. And there's some underlining issues that we both got that we need to deal with. And because one thing about it, when the woman is being this medicine, the nurturer, that means she's challenging him, not in a way what's the word I'm trying to say? Demasculate him, but she's challenging him because she sees greater in him. And most of the time, what we do is we get to going with potential. And I'm talking about left and right, but this women tonight, we go with potential. And then you expecting the potential to show up, but really you face with what you're dealing with. And that's the man that's broken, needed, nurturing, and all of that. And now here you are stuck with this situation, and now you're being depleted. And at the end of the day, when you get depleted, baby, it's not a good look. It wasn't a good look for me. I'm telling you. I mean, I was sitting up in the house. I could be home 5 days. You wouldn't even know it to step out. You think I was done worked out, baby. Done had me a nice little facial scrub or whatever, but was in the house internally struggling because now what I was doing was needing a man to take the lead and set the foundation because I've done this in relationships and all of this. And now this is where I've grown and matured to know that I don't have to be the masculine energy anymore. I am a woman. I am a lady. I am feminine energy. And that's what I choose to walk in. Yeah, I can take out the trash. I know how to change some oil. I can put gas in the car. I can mow the grass if you need me to. I can plant some stuff outside, some shrubs, but I don't have to. I can do it if necessary, if you choose that you can't, or you're busy, you're working, whatever. That's good. But I shouldn't have to figure out everything. No. If I'm on the road, check on me.
Hey, all I'm gonna say is we're in this equal society, so you need to learn how to do the bushes, the grass, change all that.
I'm just not what I'm saying. It's because at the end of the day, you have to realize I want women to know that a man he is the lead, right? In the event that something happens, I need to know that I'm still okay to handle these things in the event that he can't. But I'm saying women have operated too masculine, and it's time for us to stop. That's toxic.
Yes.
We have just ran here. We can talk the kids, the dogs, the groceries. No.
You don't need no man though.
What?
But you have to understand the only reason why we're doing that.
What did you say, Gerard?
I said you don't need no man. That's
why I desire him, and I need him to in the places that I need him to be the man. I do. I need him to what I need him to be. I just need him. I do. I need him to be the correct gardener to this garden that he has to tend to. Okay.
Mm.
Okay, Garden. Hey, so here's a good one from Nikki, and it's a two-part comment. So I'm showing both. She said, "Have you communicated what honoring you means? Some women may not know what honoring you mean." And then she goes on to say, "Honor is a custom design for each individual."
Yes.
And man, that is dead on right there. Sometimes, we talk about communicating. We don't we don't even nearly communicate enough, especially when it comes to defining what honor means. Dale said earlier that we need to stop assuming and have these conversations. And to Nikki's point, she's right on. Yeah.
I'm here for it.
You hear
I want
for
to go back to IC though, because what IC was saying was nothing but the truth. My deal is yes, the reason why you have to understand the reason why us women are acting within this masculine role is because not that we want to. Trust me, if we want to we want to live that soft life.
Then
We
y'all like
want to
that.
be pampered and taken care of. But we have been put in these positions to be the lead, to take care of everything because we don't have that person stepping up and taking that role from us. Then you two and
you talking about the men.
I'm just,
Mm-mm,
it,
mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm.
there is a cause and effect.
You had your
Baby,
time
you got
last
us
week.
right tonight, baby. You like, mm-mm.
Hey,
I
I
love Daniel. Daniel, I don't even know you, but you are my fave tonight. All y'all my fave. But I like the dialogue. And what this right here is very good to me because it says divine femininity and sacred masculinity will always find a way to make it work out. Communicating is underrated in every relationship. Let me tell you something, because love don't keep relationship, communications do. That's word all within itself, right? If we can't communicate, I can divorce you and still love you. But if we cannot
Yes.
communicate effectively to know that I'm not trying to overpower you, I'm just trying to be here, right? I don't want you, jumping off of dressers and I'm leaving in stretchers, in the
Hold
relationship.
on, depending on what we do.
Well, that's a song
Okay,
we
go
heard, and
ahead.
I don't even want you to beat me up like that. I'm just not gonna do it. But anyway, yeah, I want to be your balance in there. But I'm just saying, communication is and that's what I lacked in my last marriage, the communication part. Because we communicated differently. I'm up here, but if I had to communicate, it had to be on a scripture base because he was very in tune that way. But me, I'm just a free spirit. I flow from my heart and my mind and just where the atmosphere is set. And just I can be in two lanes at one time. But I had to realize sometimes he was just in one, or maybe he need to be on the shoulders and park there for a minute and let me come back. But I had to realize and understand that. So my thing is, but don't take away from me wanting to talk, because then you say things like, well, you wanted to talk and I knew what I wanted. Well, when you want a car, you go down there and tell them what you want in the car. When you want anything you want, when you got a watch, you put it in a certain box. Everything is communication skills. So yeah, communication is very much key. Which one we doing?
I also want to take this one
Mm.
from Corey. Appreciate the comment, big homie. He said, "I do all of that. I just was young, made kids, and never talked in 30 years." He said, "It's sad. How can I fix it?"
Is he saying he hadn't talked to his children in 30 years?
No, I think he can't talk to his lady in 30
Yeah, he
years.
said as he was going through the 30-year period, he didn't have to communicate. Now,
Oh,
how do you fix that?
Mm.
Yeah.
You can,
Corey, let me tell you something. I'm gonna be honest.
like
Yeah, I
this.
know black people don't like to talk about therapy, but y'all really need counseling. And thing, don't even worry about her first. You need to work on you. You need to go
You.
and you need to sit and you need to release everything and be able to talk freely about everything from whatever age you are now over the last 30 years. But I would go all the way back to just you as a young boy. So he said it, and
He
you never
never talked
talked
to
to
her.
her.
Okay.
Yeah. So somewhere either that was a relationship. I would ask you, how was your relationship communication skills within the dynamics of your parents, especially your mother or any female woman in the female in your life, because it goes back to there. Because somewhere there's something that's clogged up that has not allowed you to be able to be effective in that area. So I would definitely recommend that you go sit with somebody, and somebody that you don't know, that way there's no bias there, that they can sit down and help you unpackage some luggage and clean out the closets of internal things that you have held on to all these years. And there is still hope, because if you go get the help that you need, I promise you it'll help you in the area that you need from her.
And the fact that he's even asking that question
As a man
shows that,
on a platform with women, I salute you on that.
Yeah, and Jack said, men can be scorned too. It's good
They
to get
can.
all of that off your chest. And I know, in this society where men got to be overly masculine and never show weakness and all that, it can be a challenge to
Well, and that
find a
goes back
safe
to
space.
And that
where-
goes back to childhood too. For men, when y'all been taught, don't cry, man up, you a sissy if you cry, all these different things. So y'all been taught not to show any type of emotions, and you can't really talk because they always just say, just shut up or be quiet.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we've been taught to not be seen or heard when we were younger, and it has affected us. And I know we're talking about women tonight, but these are our men asking questions. It has affected us across the board as male and females, boys, girls, men, and women. We have been affected, and now we have cross-contaminated relationships because this is all that we've seen across the board. We don't know really what healthiness looks like. Some of us may have, some of us don't. But if you don't, this is where we go. She let me treat her that way. I'm pitiful for that. Love her. Oh,
No, you're not pitiful.
you're not, Corey.
No, no,
I don't
no,
want
no,
you.
no,
You're
no,
not.
no.
You just
Mm-mm,
didn't know
mm-mm,
how. How about that? Sometimes
mm-mm.
we just have to really be honest about this too. Even with what we in, when I had to look at my dad and he wasn't able to hug me and he was always at a certain stance, I had to realize that life happened to my daddy. So I do have a heart for men that have been broken. Don't give me, I do. And I do, I know that's a thing I gotta work on because I can't be doing it I gotta keep the wrong ones away. But anyway, I'm gonna get back to this beautiful moment. Some men, life has happened to y'all, the ones that are on here. And we talking to women, but it's the men talking a lot tonight about where they are with their emotions. And I thank you for that. Life has happened to you, Corey. And that doesn't make you pitiful. It just made you didn't know what to do and know how to handle that situation or how to love or how to speak or how to talk in this relationship. But that don't make you pitiful. You just didn't have it to give. But you still, I commend you for even staying there. And even though she stayed, if there was a part of her somewhere, there's something that she sees in you that kept her there. Like I said, that we always look at the potential. And we sometimes it may be she see your heart. We still see you even in your brokenness. We don't say that enough either. We see that men are broken.
Yeah.
But we also need to say that we see it and we want y'all to get help.
Yeah, here's another one from Jack. He said, what affects us as men also affects the woman we deal with. So everyone suffers until the person damaged gets help.
I like that. Correct.
Yeah.
Man, let me tell you, this whole comment section is what?
Oh,
I'm out of Topo Chico. Let me get some electrolyte.
So,
but you know what? I'm gonna say something completely different about 30 years of silence. Like, I think and this is just me from my experiences. And I hate to say experiences, right? Because then all the people around me are still alive and can be like, bitch, what you talking about me? But if you're making it 30 years without talking and you're there for the kids or whatever, you've you've transcended your relationship and you're into a partnership and you're just in the minutia of life and you're just existing with each other. Done it. And it's a very complicated place to be in because clearly you love her. Clearly you love her and you're used to it and you don't want to be alone and you're accommodating the situation. And it's been that way so long, it could be super daunting to think that you can change that. And you probably can't, to be honest, after 30 years, you really probably can't. But if something happened to her or something happened to you and you were in a life-threatening situation or an illness or something like that, that's when you're going to see that love change, that relationship's going to change, and then you'll become there for each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's a whole different thing once you add like life into it. Please don't cry.
And I'll say this right here to
no, it's okay to cry. He probably need a release. So if you gotta cry, Corey, cry. Because I'm pretty sure you heard something tonight that you've never heard spoken into your spirit, deposited into your mind and your heart. You let them tears flow because you just taking your soul to the laundromat. And I thank Virgo for being able to be the vessel to pull that stream down. Us as a collective unit to be able to sit here and to pour into you because you need it on tonight.
And just real quick before we close out this session,
read Nikki too.
The word trust too. How do you fix it? You have to trust. And we talked last week that trust is not a feeling. It's a decision that we make. Now we could talk about if it's comfortable to trust or not, But if we're talking about fixing anything, you got to make yourself vulnerable and be willing to trust that hoping that the other person going to do their part, but also trusting that even if it don't go the way you want it to go, that you're going to be okay. And that takes us to subscribe to a power that transcends our own ability. You know, to most people, it's their God. But my point is, you got to have something that you subscribe to that transcends your fears, your hesitancies, your own experiences, your own biases. You have to, because if not, I got my biases, you got your biases, I got my fears, you got your fears. Who's going to supersede or trump each other's, right? So now we got to go outside of self and realize, like, hey, I'm buying into a system that's greater than self. And if you don't have that, you're never going to be able to get on the same page, because it's going to be whatever that I'm dealing with is going to supersede whatever you're dealing with. So just want to throw that out there.
Nikki had a good comment, and she said therapy is a hidden gem from the Black community. Slavery treated us as equipment. We are only good as long as your physical abilities are present, but other cultures put mental first.
That's real tough.
It is.
But we've also been told that our mental, our intellectual, our all of that doesn't matter, right? There's no, I mean, if we're begging for our lives to matter, our mental health damn sure doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
That's why we need platforms like this that tell you it is okay to do it. It is, you need it. It is necessary, and we're not shying away from it on our platform, because Gerard worked. This ain't about men, but I mean they do a lot of things for mental health for men, because men need it just as much as women.
Just as much.
Yeah, I mean, if not more. You know, we suppress, but women will talk a little bit more to girlfriends, which sometimes that ain't the best, because it ain't, some of the girlfriends ain't the but I'm just saying. But anyway, back over.
Yeah. So Corey said it's his mom's birthday. So
he can't call her.
His mom passed away last year. One of the sweetest women I ever met, Miss Alberta. So condolences to your mom. Happy heavenly birthday to Miss Alberta.
Happy birthday. These are flowers for her, Corey. Happy birthday.
Yeah. And Corey's asking how often we do this. We try to get on a few times a week, but usually Sunday evenings. Now that football is over and everybody's not watching the Dallas Cowboys, we'll probably be here Sunday evenings.
And that's right. I think that's Mia. Therapy does not equate to you're crazy. Total misconception. You're not. Yeah, that's right. It's not that you're crazy, but you definitely need something to release you from not going crazy and being on the first 48. Not to be
Snapped.
You know.
Yeah. Hey, you know who? Hey, I believe in therapy. Deborah J, she goes on the regular, but I tell people you need therapy not just for the bad. Yeah, you need therapy for the good. I tell people, if I won the lottery, I would go and get therapy. We're gonna talk this thing out with somebody.
Yeah.
You're right. They're gonna put me out. They're gonna say, "Ma'am, you gotta go. Ma'am, I want to lay on the couch. And do you got some more something to drink over here?
Yeah.
I need a blanket. I'm a little cold."
You silly.
I see you want to close out the discussion, and then we got some announcements to make afterwards.
Therapy is a truly healing. Being in therapy. Therapy is truly healing. Being in therapy for the last 2 consecutive years, it's freeing. Trust me.
Yes.
Because this right here, this is therapy for me. When I'm over here, get on here with my crew, and then y'all over here in the comment sections pulling up stuff that be like, don't say that, because they're gonna say this, baby, please, whatever. At this place, baby, I'm free. How about that? I want everybody to be free. Yeah. Okay. So we're about to close out this session on tonight, and it really was very interesting. Now it did take a turn. Now we talked about toxicity, and I don't think we really did a lot about the insecurity of women, because when women get insecure, let me tell you something. They'll tell the kids not to like your new girlfriend. Let's go there, which I know we closing now. They'll tell them not to show love, and those children are caught up in this triangle of I can't love who my dad is presently with, because now they're getting more nurturing on what I'm not giving them, and not they found a freeing place, and even done help free the man that they daddy, which makes him look better to me now and more appealing. And so now you get to doing this to your children because you insecure about who's now effective in their life. See, we about to close now. All I'm gonna tell you is this: women, you need to go check yourself. And I'm talking about check yourself real good. Don't be over here on this radar, rating these men from 1 to 10 on their insecurities, toxicity, and all that, when we ourselves have the same little voting poll over here. And you need to rate yourself. And you need to sit down and do personal rehab with yourself. Take yourself back down memory lane and figure out how all this started within you, how it got into your children's lives, how it's affecting your children, how it's affecting you and your relationships, not just with the man, but even in friendships. Because we toxic with our girlfriends sometimes. Because sometimes it's something in them that we can really sit down and pull from them to be better. But because we don't want to give them their flowers, we'll sit back and be a little shady. But we don't want to talk about that insecurity. So, but since we didn't get to do it then, I'm gonna hit it with that. Face yourself, baby. Face you. You need therapy for yourself. That way you can be better. And you can wake up every day and say that today is a good day to have a good day. And you need to start having it with yourself. The first person you need to talk to outside of God, when you say good morning, Lord God, I thank you. You need to start with me. You start with yourself. So now sit down, sit in your dysfunctions, sit in your toxicity, and say, I no longer want to be in this place so that I'm healthy and whole. And I am now in a better place to be who I need to be across the board, but first to myself. And then everything after that shall follow. That I'm healthy for them as well. I'm not overdoing it anymore. I'm not being too much for too many people, less than myself. In other words, stop being a campfire to yourself and an infernos to others, being inferno to you and everybody else catch fire behind it. How about that? But I'm not going to be over here lightly smoking while I got y'all blazed up. No. I'm blazing me because I'm gonna check me. And some of us need to be in the furnace so we can burn all the hell and toxicity and all this stuff that has us trapped in our minds and our emotions need to be burned out. So that's all I'm saying tonight, girl. Personal rehab yourself. Okay. All right.
I see.
And rest not to
Love note. So I'm gonna plug something I've been knowing for a while now. So if y'all been following the podcast since I onset, one of our founding members, the professor, is he's an author now, and his book was released a couple weeks ago. Shout out to the professor. It's 21 Years, a collection of poems on leadership by Vincent A. Watson, aka the professor. So he's on Barnes and Noble, some other sites, Amazon, but he's actually going to be on the show Tuesday. We're going to promote his book. So if you connected with the professor on social media, reach out to him, tell him congratulations, but mark your calendars for 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on Tuesday, and he'll be here to talk about his book release.
Congratulations.
Yes, congrats, Professor. All right. Well, now we're at the very end of the show. Before we get ready to go, any parting thoughts? Anyone have anything to sum up the discussion or some nice words of wisdom to leave our audience with tonight?
I'm gonna just go with love you. Just love you. If you love you, everything else will fall in the ways that,
Yeah.
Yes.
What about you, David J?
Mine is always heal. Go to therapy. Like I said, therapy is not for bad things. It can be for good too. I use it for helping me parent a teenager because I don't know how to do all this. We're not perfect, and it's okay to ask for help. So I asked for help during my therapy sessions for even raising my child, not necessarily all trauma. But also, like I said, get to know yourself, love yourself, and with the summing up of the show, with the first topic that we hit on of people pleasing, make sure you're pleasing yourself, because if you're empty, you cannot pour nothing else out to anybody else. And that is one of the things why we feel so depleted all the time, because we want to give and please other people and we're not even taking care of ourselves. So make sure you take care of your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health, and financial too, because when you got money, you look good, feel good, things are going well, hey, life goes good for you. So make sure you put yourself first before you put anybody else out there or try to take care of anyone else.
And that is not a bad thing to do. People call it selfish, but hey, man, take care of self don't mean that you're neglecting other people. So, man.
Yes.
And I like what Jack said. He said, surround yourself with people that encourage you and want to see you win. I'm telling you, boy, it's going to be some days where you don't have much to give. And that encouragement from others mean a lot. And my parting words is just simple as this. That old saying, the apple don't fall far from the tree.
Word.
So if you have kids, just to know that they're sponges and they're watching and they're taking it on, they're learning how to deal with this world, how to interact with people, how to engage the neighbors, how to drive and interact with traffic, how to treat the waitress and waiters and all this. They're learning everything from you, and most importantly, how to have a relationship. So be mindful of that. And sometimes it's pride. Sometimes we don't want to face the music that we in something that's toxic, and it don't have to end there. Work on it, growing, and if you can't, I'm telling you, as a avid Christian, get the hell out. Period. Point blank, get the hell out.
And
I heard that.
before we go, Corey did ask that we would pray for them, for him. And Corey, this is all I'm gonna do it like this. Father God, you see where Corey is, and even on this platform tonight, he has openly just put his request and made it known. Father God, I ask that you would just tend to him in every capacity that he needs you to touch in his life, Father God, internally, mentally, emotionally, physically, whatever he is in need of, Father God. I ask that you would just allow him to be free on tonight, that the devil no longer has control of his emotions, his mindset, or any a path of him moving forward. So just be with him on tonight. Let him know that he is loved, oh Father God, by you, that he is not alone in this journey of being able to be healed and restored as he begins to release everything that has held him back, that he may not even know that has held him captive. So tonight we leave him in your hands on tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Well, our hearts and minds are clear. We can do the benediction. All right, so y'all, before y'all go, thank y'all so much for the comments. Make sure you go like us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. Hit us up on all platforms. Also, Jack, you made a comment earlier. You hit that lottery. All right, hit that lottery. Hey, support the Floor Is Yours podcast. Let us go national. We're gonna need some of that money, boo boo, because we got some good stuff to put out there. So
First sponsor, you our first sponsor.
yes, you'll be our sponsor. So yes, definitely. Corey, whatever you're going through, continue prayers, continue strength. You got this, bro. But yes, we thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all so much for the comments. Hey, the platform, y'all was awesome again tonight. And let's do this again. When we coming back, we got a topic for the next show.
And we'll brainstorm.
Okay. Well, I will let y'all know a few days before the next show what we're going to be talking about, so y'all can tune in and have y'all questions ready. So Flex, go ahead and hit that outro so we can dance.
It's my turn to tell y'all about my big bro Gerard and the podcast crew. From TJ the realist, Miss Cookie the professor, and you can't forget about the inspiration shit. They talk about it all, got advice for us all. You'll never know how deep the talks will go. On the weekdays, the weekends, they be going live with the topics. Then they do the segment where the floor is yours. You can post your comments, you can post your statements, yeah. You can ask your questions, They can help you get your life moving in the right direction. If you need advice on marriage, advice on finance, advice on healing, advice on credit, this the podcast that you need to check out. Go ahead and tune in, you'll feel what I'm talking about.
Baby, don't get the floor is yours. Yeah, baby, I mean, the floor is yours. Baby, come down to the floor is yours. Let me show you how the floor is yours. Hey, the floor is yours. The floor is yours. Nah, 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 nah. The floor is yours. The floor is yours.
I need you to unmute me. Why don't mute me during the song, because I was really over here jamming.
Hey, but listen, let me tell you why I muted you, because you could really sing, but that one you're really singing voice right there, man. I'm like, let me save her.
Don't save her. We love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in.